And I think that even brings us to requirements in
Yeah.
a person, and
Yeah.
how requirements change with age. Requirements change in
Yeah.
what you require in a man
Because you have to be
or
willing to grow with
spouse.
somebody too. I think like you say, requirements change in age. You're not going to require the same things at 21 that you do at 30.
No.
So you have to be flexible in that sense too. Not so much as much as we say, hey, the person that you were when I met you, that's who I want. Well, I'm not going to be that person when I'm 45 years old. And I think a lot of men struggle with that. Well, my wife, she don't,
Yeah.
bro, she's not 22 years old anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You guys are 40. She's not going to look at life the same way that she did when she was 22, as well as you shouldn't. And if you did, then that's a problem. And I think that requirements do change over time, but I think the fundamental love and commitment of who this person is, I know her, this is what she does, this is her quirk or whatever it is, and I have to accept her for who she is. That's how I feel about requirements. What do you feel about requirements, baby, as a woman?
As a woman, I feel that requirements do vary. It's kind of, and to show you guys in a different perspective, it's like us as women, we do it all the time. It's like, think of the man that you dated in high school, like as a grown woman, right?
Yeah,
You're like, ew, I would never touch that man, like
that's real.
like to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, like, because your requirements were different, your
Mhm.
standards were different. So as you grow as a person, then yeah, those things are gonna change.
And you think you should have to weed those things out? Do you think is that what it is? Like you have to know what your requirements are as you, if you're getting into a relationship. Maybe is it like, well, I need to know what my requirements are before getting into this relationship, and then that allows it to be, well, when I commit to this person commits to me. We know who we are
I think
because
I think it's deeper than that. I feel like you need to know yourself before you get in the relationship. Once you know yourself, you set standards, right, for yourself.
hmm
Now, requirements, those I do believe come within dating, because I'm going to speak to
yeah,
who it is that I'm interested in. I'm going to say, hey, this is what I require. All right, well, he's going to tell me what he requires.
yeah,
We're going to see if that works for us.
yeah,
Standards, you know what I mean? That's something that you do not budge on. That
yeah,
is something that is like, no, one of my standards are you must be a God-fearing man. That's
yeah,
not something I'm going to budge on. That's not something I'm going to give a man the option to say, well,
yeah. Okay,
I don't, you know what I mean?
yeah, I
So
agree.
standards and requirements, I think, because requirements can be compromised,
Yes, requirements can be compromised. 100%.
standards cannot.
Standards cannot be compromised. Those
So
are your standards, are really your boundaries.
absolutely.
These are my not requirements are more. These are the things that I'm willing to accept or not accept, and we can compromise and work on these things. And well, I do require this, but I'm willing to budge a little bit here to get this.
Yeah.
You know,
My man might say, I require a hot home cooked meal every day at 6 p.m.
that sound like me.
Okay. But
It's
realistically
not
speaking, he
realistic.
might have to compromise because some days
They be tired. I might have to buy
she
pizza
might
for
be
the family.
sick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I might be sick. I might be out running an
or just
errand.
something. Hey, she had a long day, bro, and,
It's,
and I'm very good with that. I feel like
yeah,
I do require Dave to like, babe. I want to eat home cooked meals. I like that. I love my woman cooking, and she cooks very well.
I do.
She be cooking.
But one of his requirements is that for health purposes, like he likes to eat before a certain time.
Yes.
So he likes to have dinner ready, done in front of him before 7.
Yeah.
Not on no sexist, I want my food and I want it now. But that's the way, that's a lifestyle he has. Just like I have a lifestyle of eating healthy. I won't eat certain things, and that's one of his requirements, is that he likes to eat before a certain time.
Yeah.
And that's something that I make sure that I do for him.
She does.
And I'm very good with that. Like, and to the point now, where it comes naturally. Like I eat
Yeah.
before that time now.
And because I know she's so good about that, I I make sure I do my part when she's tired. I make sure I do my part when she's sick. I make sure I do my part when she's had a long day.
Hmm.
Hey, baby, I see you tired. You don't have to cook tonight, baby. I'll make sure I buy pizza for us and the kids.
Yeah.
Oh baby, I'll cook tonight. Sometimes I'll do that. Like she cooks every night. I'll cook. It's never gonna be as good as what she does, but it fills the need for the night. And I think that that's where you, as a from my requirements in our relationship, that's where we're talking about how you let a requirement, uh, have some leeway to
Compromise. Yeah.
compromise. And yeah, I think that's the difference between standards and expectations. I think having a standard is, hey, I need a God fearing woman, I need a God fearing man, but that's your standard. But an expectation, you have to lower them or adjust them as the relationship goes, because everything is not going to be perfect on a day to day. And a lot of people don't understand that about relationships. They look at relationships as, what am I getting? What am I getting every single day out of
Yeah,
this?
black and white,
Yeah.
50-50.
I pay
And
bills, you cook. You
mm-mm.
pay bills, I cook. You cook, I wash dishes. It don't work like that on a day to day. Some days, babe just don't feel like it. I'm gonna have to take over. Some days I don't feel like it. Babe takes over. And I think that's the difference in standards and expectation. You can't be like, well, I'm not gonna lower my standards to a woman that won't cook every single night
At
because she
6.
didn't cook 10 days and on the 11th day she don't want to cook no more. You go, oh, I'm lowering my standards now. No, it don't
Yeah.
work like that.
No, it's just compromising. And I feel like one of the biggest things when it comes to requirements is just being aware of your partner's requirements, being
Yes.
and acknowledging them.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, there's nights where he'll be like, babe, I'm gonna order out. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not because I came to him and was like, I'm not cooking today.
No,
I can't.
no.
It's because he's acknowledged and he pays attention to me. He knows what I did all day. So
Yes.
I don't have to tell him like, babe, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't feel like cooking tonight.
Yeah.
He knows what I went through that day. He knows I had a long day, and he's like, "Nah, baby, you don't have to cook tonight."
And
Like,
if you're not paying attention to that level, then you disconnected from your relationship. I should know when she's had a long day. I should know when she's tired. I should know, babe needs me to fill in tonight. This is my day to be 80 and her day to be 20. It's okay.
mm,
And having those expectations that somebody should be everything all the time is not right on either side of it. You know,
no,
there's times that something needs to get paid and babe was like, I'll pay it, you know,
mm-hmm.
and we combine finances personally, but that before we did that,
Yeah,
she would do that. There was times that I was having a rough day and she would be like, normally I'm like, baby, you need anything here? Take this $100, go get your nails done. That's
mm-hmm.
how I am. But there's been times that she was like, oh, you need time for yourself and you had a long week. Why don't you? And she sent me $200 and
Mm-hmm.
gave me $200 to go enjoy my life and go have fun for the day without her,
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes those things are necessary and you have to give and take in a relationship, give and take. And don't have so high expectation that you think that your expectation, your requirements is the same thing as your standards, right?
Yeah. Don't let your ex or your I won't say expectations, but don't let your
Requirements.
requirements, have you lose out on a good woman or a good man, because
Oh
those
yeah.
are things that need to be compromised. And being in a relationship and picking a spouse, you look for somebody that's worth compromising for.
Yes. That's real, baby.
So
That's a good point.
because you're
That's a
gonna
good
have
point.
to you're gonna have to compromise. So
And if they're not worth compromising for, why you will? You
exactly,
know?
yeah. If you're like if you find yourself feeling like I don't want to or I don't have
Mm.
to, you're probably not into that person as much as you thought you were.
Yep.
Because it's literally human nature to be like, all right, well, he doesn't want this, I want this, we need to meet in the middle.
Yep.
Nobody's right 100% of the time,
Nope. Or
ever.
there's times that hey, you know what? She wants this, I want that, but I can deal with not getting what I want. Probably a little more she can deal with not getting what she wants in this specific situation, and she wins. It is what it is.
I
I win.
mean,
She win now. I win later. She'll do the same for me. Sometimes it'll be, well, he wants this. I don't really feel like it, but I win. Sometimes it may be something as small as who wants to pick up the kids from school,
mm-hmm.
and I don't want to do it 90% of the time. But because she does it most of the time, I'll go. I don't want to, but I'll do it, baby. There is
Yeah,
no meet in the middle. Sometimes we get too caught up in that too as people in relationships. Oh well, we got to meet in the middle. Not every time you can meet in the middle. Sometimes you're gonna have to, well, babe wins or I win, or and somebody has to win. And typically it's easier to make those decisions when you the person saying, you know what, I'll let you win.
yeah,
Have that humility instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna win and you gonna lose. No,
yeah,
I normally try to, baby, you win. I'll get her. I'll get the kids from school today.
yeah.
you know.
So it's literally just in that balance of knowing there's standard, there's I'm sorry, I would put it as standards,
Yes.
requirements,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
expectations.
That's real. I like that.
So and in those orders, because standards are non-adjustable, not like nothing, that's just what it is. Requirements are what you require, are
Yes.
your needs for you, and expectations are what you expect from somebody else. And
Yep.
those two last things, I believe that there is always going to have to be a compromise in those two things. So they're all separate, but those are all things that need to be discussed when getting into a serious relationship.
Yeah, when you start thinking about commitment, those are things that have to come to the table, and everybody has to lay everything out and be honest about it, because you do not want to get into a situation or in a relationship and start having those arguments and nobody, like, oh, I didn't know that was your expectation. I didn't know that was your requirement. I didn't know that you had that boundary or standard. I think that just being intentional about your dating and intentional about what you want out of a relationship and intentional about what you want out of life. Because when you come into a relationship, a committed relationship, you're talking about spending a lot of your life together, spending moments in your life, spending, finances, spending just the things that are most important. You're spending those things together, holidays with family members. Whose family are we going to for our holidays? Things that you don't think about, but are very important on a day-to-day level. And I think that, if you're intentional about what you want and you guys know each other's intentions, it's a lot easier to navigate through a relationship than it would be without knowing those things.